So today we are going to talk about the Quest 1 Career Cluster template. So to start, you're going to want to go to my homepage, click on ePortfolio and Quest 1 Career Cluster template. You're going to need to read this information and watch this video before you start your assignment. Don't worry, when you click on the play button, the window for the video will get a lot larger. After you watch the video, go ahead, finish reading what's on the page, and then we get to our first really important step. You're going to want to click here to download the actual template, which you're going to complete your assignment in. So you'll see it download here. Click to open it up. You want to, if you get this yellow bar across the top, you want to click Enable Editing. And the very first thing that we're going to do before we actually fill this assignment out is go through our saving process. File, Save As, Browse, and then you're going to want to go to your U drive. Notice it should automatically save with this file name. So once it's saved, we can keep this Word document open that you're going to fill out, and we're actually going to go take this career cluster survey. That survey is right here. Gives you some instructions to start. Okay, and this enter scores button will be if you have to leave class early, and I'll talk about that at the very end. So we're going to go ahead and click the next button. This screen's important because it tells you how to answer each of the questions. If you really don't like something, with the smiley face showing if you really do like something. Screen tells you just answer honestly. Don't answer a question based on what the person next to you answered. So again, there are no right or wrong answers. And then here we go. Right hand corner, it shows you that there's 5 pages of questions. There's 60 questions in total, and I know it seems like a lot, but you can see how simple they are to answer. And notice you cannot click on the next button until you've answered all of the questions on each page. So for the sake of time, I'm going to randomly select answers for all of these 60 questions. And I'm doing it in this sort of pattern so that when we actually get the results, it'll be a nice wide range of things for us to look at. Your results may be a lot different than mine, and that's okay. But remember, I'm just clicking on random ones for time's sake. It's also really important at the end of this that when you get your results, we have to answer one of the questions on the Word document template really quickly and save it just in case you have to leave early or class is over and we have to start packing up. That way you don't have to sit and go through and answer all of these questions again. So now that I've answered all those, tells us we've done a great job, and now we actually get to go see our results. So click on the next button again. And now we get to our second really important part. After we've answered the survey, these results right here, each category, and the score you got in each category, need to be entered in the template that you saved to your U drive. Now I'm going to show you a little trick to help make this a little bit easier. If you grab in the empty space right here of your internet window and you drag it to one side, it'll pop up and it'll let you select this other document or another window so you can look at them now side by side. This makes it really easy for me and you to enter the information for the very first question. And you can see the first question, all you need to do for those 5 points is put your score for each of the 6 categories. So as an example, my realistic score was 23. My investigative score was 25. You would fill out this table with whatever your results were. Now before we go back to this screen over here and look at the results, I want to scroll down just a little bit farther and talk about question 2. Because this one right here says, after you've completed the survey, what were your top 2 results? What that means is, which were your 2 categories that had the highest score? So you can see right here, realistic for me and enterprising both had a score of 23. Investigative and conventional both had scores of 25. Since I have 2 scores at 25 and 2 scores at 23, I know my top 2 clusters were investigative and conventional. And my second top 2 were realistic and enterprising. So it's okay to have 2 answers in each of these columns, as long as the scores are equal. So now, just from the screen right here, you've answered the first 2 questions on your career cluster template, and you've earned yourself 10 points. Now, the big part of your assignment comes from this table right here. That's worth 15 points all by itself. So if we go over here and make this screen larger again, it'll make it easier for us to fill out this table. What you're going to do is pick your top categories, one of your top categories, and then one of your second category. You can click on it and it will tell you what it means if you're sort of a realistic person, as opposed to, let's say, an artistic individual or somebody who is rather conventional. Using these categories, you're then going to research 3 jobs that you could have in the future. So we're going to hit next once you've read about each of your interest categories. And now this part tells us that we're going to look at some careers based on our results. This job zone is important because here you get to pick how much school do you want to go through for the job that you want in the future. And what we mean by that is, do you want to have a job in the future that you don't have to have a whole lot of education for? Or do you want a job in the future where you have to go through a lot of schooling and you have to have a lot of knowledge to have that job? Just like before, you can click on each of these categories for some more details. And then once you click next, it's actually time to pick which category you want your job to come from. I would prefer that we stay within the zone 3 to 5 range, but it is your choice. So since I said stay, hopefully, within the zone 3 to 5 range, I'm going to go right in the middle of that and pick zone 4. brings us back to this screen so we can get one last look before we start taking a look at the various careers. How we scored in each category. It lets us know the jobs that it's about to show us are going to come from category 4, or the high preparation area. And then once we hit next, now we can scroll through all of the jobs that fit in our various categories. And as you can see, there are a ton. What you want to do, take a minute, look through these. Based on the things that interest you, you'll go ahead, click on that job, and then here is all the information that you need to fill out your career cluster template. So now I'm going to use that little trick again and grab in the empty space in my internet window, slide it to the one side, so now I can have the job that I'm looking at right next to the table that I'm going to fill out. This isn't a job that I really want, but I'll use it as an example. So you have to go through 3 jobs and fill out each of these columns for the job you're researching or the job that you're interested in. So here it says career, what is the job called, and are there other names for this career? And you can see that right here. This is the job as an actuary. And it can also be called an actuarial analyst, an actuary, pricing actuary, product development, so forth, and so on. So you would put the other names right behind it. Now what you need to know about this column is you're only going to be able to type as wide as the column is. What I mean by that is if I were to finish typing the rest of the names, you can see that my column doesn't keep getting bigger from left to right, it gets bigger from top to bottom. Once you start to fill out your third job, you might be on a second or third page, and that's okay. I know it'll look a little weird because the columns get bigger vertically, but that's just how the table is formatted. If we take a look at the rest of the information here, you can see that you can pretty much copy and paste all of the information from this page onto this page over here. Tells you exactly what this job does, what you would do on a day-to-day basis, which is the second column. Scroll down a little bit more. What type of education that you would need to complete this job. So you would type in something like a bachelor's degree or certificate. The outlook, this is a really important part. What is the salary per year, or how much money does this job make per year? And how is this job looking in the future? This job has a bright outlook, meaning that we're going to need more and more actuaries, and they make quite a bit of money. And you would put that information right there. Skills and abilities. Skills and abilities that you would need for this job. What type of knowledge or what your bosses would expect you to know right here in this column. And any technology that you're going to be required to use to do this job right there as well. So you're going to fill out each of these columns for one job that you're researching. And notice you're going to need 3 total jobs. Actuary is my first job. I'm going to need a second job to research, and I'm going to need a third job to research. When you're done with one job, simply close that window. Takes you back here, and if you slide over just a little bit or make the window bigger, you can then pick your next job, whether it's computer hardware engineer, a logistics analyst, all the way down to something like an accountant. Research the 3 jobs and enter all that information into this table. Now, why was it important that we copied down all of the scores for these areas? Let's say class runs short or somebody comes to pick you up early. You come back to this page, uh-oh, it brought you all the way back here to the beginning. You have to go through and answer all of those 60 questions over again. But if you finish the 60 questions and copied down the information in this table like you were supposed to and saved it right away, there's this shortcut button right here. You hit this button, you can enter the scores that you got for each category. Once they're all entered, you hit next, and it'll take you right back to your career section and allow you to finish this assignment. Make sure you save it after you answer each question, so if something happens with the computer or you have to leave early, you don't lose all your hard work. After it's all done, scroll to the bottom of the page and you're going to upload your finished assignment here, just like we did for our Who Am I narrative.